Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. We have gone from Christmas in July back to oceans and we are going to make a silicone mould. I am a silicone mould ambassador for Let's Resin, so all of the details will be in the description box below. And if you are new to silicone moulds, then hang around. They really are not that tricky to make. I got myself some acrylic blanks cut. I actually contacted Moray over at Lothian Woodworks. You all would have heard of him before. He cuts my blanks for me and I got these super cute little turtles and surfboard moulds. They are clear acrylic and they actually have a protective layer over the top, so don't worry about that. We are going to peel that off afterwards. The way I'm going to make this actual mould is by using a cookie cutter. Now, you can use the mould housing that Let's Resin also sell, but this is going to be a really small mould, so I really didn't want to have to use quite a large kit for such a quick, simple mould. And here we are. You just see me placing them in and around my cookie cutter just to make sure I have the right size cookie cutter for the actual pieces that I want to mould. To stick them down, we need a sticky base. I am using this generic non-branded transfer tape. This is something that you guys recommended ages ago because I was having a really big problem finding something that has a wide area base that isn't going to leave a sticky residue on my silicone afterwards. And I tried Cricut vinyl, HTV Ront vinyl, Cricut transfer tape. I tried everything and it always leaves a sticky residue. And I don't know who it was that told me that they use their transfer tape, but it's non-branded and it works a dream. So now I've got my cookie cutter down on my sticky plastic. I'm going to place my acrylic blanks down in. Now the first thing you want to do, make sure either to wear gloves or do not touch the actual shiny sides of the turtles or anything you're molding. Don't touch the surface or the underbelly with your fingers, as in they will leave fingerprints. And if you have any kind of oil on your skin or anything like that, it will leave marks. And then the silicone will pick up your fingerprint in the silicone mold, which is crazy. So I'm doing my best here just to make sure I'm not touching the surfaces. I'm just holding my acrylic blanks by the sides and I was just hoping this would do a good enough job and not leave any marks in the surface. Once I was happy with their positioning, I just went over with a black cloth, aka the bottom of my t-shirt, just to give them a rub over the surface and make sure that they are fully stuck. The silicone I'm using, as I said at the beginning, it is the Let's Resin silicone. It is part A, part B, 1:1, measurable by weight. And I just measured out around, I think it was 18 grams. No, it wasn't. It was a lot more than that. That's the resin. I'm getting ahead of myself in the voiceover. I measured out equal parts A and B. Once I've done that in the cup, it is time to stir. Now, I do stir my silicone for around about 5 minutes. That is the recommendation of the silicone. So 2 or 3 minutes is just not enough. You really have a lot of work time, so you really do want to mix it. Make sure everything is mixed in. And I did throw it into my Resiners bubbleless machine. This video is not sponsored by Resiners, so you will not see paid promotion on this video, but I am using the machine for silicone and oh my goodness guys, I think I will probably use this machine for silicone way more than I will for resin. It did an unbelievable job. Look at these bubbles that are being removed from the silicone. I have to say, Let's Resin silicone is bubble free. I am pouring from quite high up here, so 2 foot off the desk. If you pour from high up, then Let's Resin silicone does actually knock itself out, like it knocks its own bubbles out, and you do end up with a bubble free silicone. However, it's not going to do any harm just running it through my vacuum chamber from Resiners. I figured, you know, why not? Let's give it a go. Once I am happy and I've filled the whole, like I've used all of the silicone up in this cookie cutter, then I'm just going to use my little microfiber brush, my micro brush, just to go in and around all of those holes where you're going to be attaching your keyring attachment or your pendant or your chain or your jump rings, whatever it is. So I just want to make sure the silicone gets down and in. The one thing I did forget to mention is that after placing my cookie cutter down on this transfer tape, I did actually go around the edges with some sellotape just to make sure that the seal was solid. I don't trust transfer tape on its own. I always use sellotape as a backup, just to seal around the edge of that cookie cutter. And here you see me just removing it. And I have to say, guys, I think this is the neatest, most perfect silicone mold I've ever made. Here on my channel, we are forever learning. I am forever learning. I've got years and years ahead of me to learn even more. Every day's a school day. But this is definitely the neatest mold I've ever made. Like, that kind of transfer tape that I'm now using, oh my gosh, perfection. It gives the most perfect surface to your silicone. It's like sellotape does work and it does the job, but there's always crumples and wrinkles and crinkles and all of that in the surface, whereas, oh my gosh, perfection. Exciting news coming up, guys. I am no longer working for Vista. Da, da, da. I actually quit my role as a Vista ambassador about a week and a half ago. I was itching, guys. I was itching to just try more resins. There's always new resins. There's always new products. And it's been amazing being a Vista ambassador, truly. But the truth is, when you are an ambassador for a company, you're kind of tied in and you can't really show other resins. I could never show any other resin on my channel, which is part of the deal. So it's all good. But now I just decided, you know, I was sitting there thinking, oh, I just really want to try that resin. And companies are contacting me all the time and I'm always saying, no, I can't, I'm so sorry, I can't show that. But that is the breaking news. I am so happy. I'm giddy. Like, I'm off my face giddy. So there we are. I'm going to be using so many new resins, more resins, different companies, different brands. I'm not tied into anybody. And trust me, I've had loads of resins sent to me by many different brands. And in this video, I am using the Let's Resin Fast Cure 4-hour cure resin. We all know I work for Let's Resin anyway, and they have been amazing knowing I can't show their resin. But now I can, and I'm so excited. Anyway, okay, back to the video, Claire. Calm down, calm down. I did run the resin through my bubbleless machine again. I got kind of very bored of it. I stopped the machine after 2 minutes because my patience is thin. My patience is thin. I wanted to get this done. But even if I got a few bubbles out, that's all good. I mixed my resin into 4 separate little cups. We do not need much resin for this project. Like I said, again, this is the Let's Resin Fast Cure. It's 1-to-1 measurable by weight, and I stirred it for around 4 hours. Listen, I've been using the same resin now for 2 years. This is a brand new resin to me, brand new experience. And when I say the viscosity, I have never used a resin this thick in my life. It was thick, like really, really thick resin. It was so interesting for me to see the difference between the resins I've been using and this super thick resin. So I figured once I'd mixed it, I want to create like not an ombre so much, but multiple different colors and multiple different, colors in my turtles and surfboards. So I mixed up a light blue, dark blue, kept a bit clear, and I added in some of the super sparkle white into one of them. And I'm just going to be adding each of those individually to my pieces. So the tops and the bottoms of the surfboard are getting either the clear or the super sparkle white in the clear. And then in the middle, I'm going to be putting the light blue and the dark blue. I figured, seeing as this resin is so thick, I don't really feel like this resin is really gonna not only flow, it doesn't flow like other resins I've used, but also the colors aren't gonna just muddy. You're not gonna get a muddy, unidentifiable color in the middle when you put your colors down. That is what I was thinking. That was what I suspected, having never used this resin before. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The nice thing I like about this resin is the thickness. The thing I love about the thickness is the control it gives you. Having a resin that is this gloopy and this thick just gives you so much more time, so much more control as to where you put it. You can see here, I've put the dark and the light right next to each other, and they're barely budging. barely budging. If this was a really watery, thin viscosity resin, they would have already merged and I wouldn't have had time to lay down my super sparkle white in the center. And you can see, look at this. They are not moving. They are not even moving, which gives you so much more time to play. Having said that, this is a 4-hour cure resin. So you don't got much time. You won't have much time. I didn't actually read up on the work time with this resin, but just know there won't be much. If it's going to cure in 4 hours, you won't have long. So whilst I say it gives you more time to position, it gives you more time to position your resin, but I am loving, I think I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to try a new resin. I'm so excited that moving forward, I'm going to be able to work with Let's Resin, and I'm going to be able to work with a couple of other brands who have already reached out to me. I have codes, guys. Actual physical cash discount codes for you as well. It's just too much. It's too much excitement. Okay. Quite a few spritzes of alcohol there. That's 99% isopropyl alcohol over the top to get rid of surface bubbles. Then I figured might as well have some fun. I don't know what this is going to look like, but whatever, isn't it? It's creativity and it's all going to work out, and trust the process. I got my micro tool and I thought, this resin is so thick. I want to see what it's going to be like if we drag a micro brush through the resin, see if we can try and drag those colors into each other and drag some of the blue down into the clear. And the turtle on the left, I decided to just leave alone. That turtle got away with it. It didn't get any extra treatment. Now it is time to give them a back coat. Honestly, I could use the same resin again. I could use Let's Resin 4-hour cure. However, I don't have 4 hours. If you've been with me a while, you'll know patience is not my strong point. I decided to back them all in the Let's Resin polyurethane, and honestly, I'm so glad I did. This stuff cures in 10 minutes. 10 minutes is about my limit at this stage, because don't forget, I've already made the mold. I've already, created the items. I'm done. I need another fast result. So here I am, just trimming off the excess polyurethane resin. Polyurethane resin, if you do not know, it is not epoxy, but it is more of a plastic resin. Cures in 10 minutes, available from Let's Resin as well. So again, your codes are down below for Let's Resin, and this is what they're looking like. I have to say, dragging the micro brush through the turtle really didn't give us inspiring results, but still I'm glad I did it, because I was just playing with this resin at this point just to see what it does. Love the surfboards. I love the fact that I've dragged the light blue down into the clear and it stayed there. It stayed there. It physically stayed as a sharp point. No movement, no blending. Look at it, the sharp points at the bottom of the surfboards. Anyway, okay, it is time to finish these off, kind of, and we're going to give them a top coat. So I'm actually covering the bottoms in masking tape. Green frog tape is my go-to masking tape, but you can use anything that works. Just make sure that it's of quality enough to not leak resin in, down and under. Then I'm going to add my waves, my ocean waves. Oh my gosh, guys. It has been so long since I've done a full-blown big-scale ocean. I feel like I need to do another one. I do truly feel like I need to do another one. So watch this space and let me know the colour. If you're still here, what colour ocean should I do? On my channel, I've already done a pink ocean and I've already done a black sandy ocean. That was my favourite. Let me know what colour ocean you think I should do in a much larger scale. So on a big wood round, just let me know. Okay, back to the video. UV resin is our friend here. I am using UV resin by Vista. I will still use Vista resins in my videos. And this is their UV. So I've just half topped the items. So the two turtles and the surfboards. I've just created a section where we're going to have that white frothy wave element. Not all of them are getting covered at this point. And here you just saw I just mixed in some white acrylic paint in with my Vista Lumen, which is their UV, and I'm just creating this white line across the surface of the wave. You would have seen me do this a few videos back and it was really enjoyable. Someone did suggest in that video that I use a heat gun to try and move the white paint in so that we get some more cells. You know, that very typical moving the resin with your heat gun. That is something I have done many times on my channel, but it's usually on a much bigger scale with epoxy resin. I've never tried it with UV, so here goes. We're going to try it today. In the meantime, this is all I'm doing with my cocktail stick. I'm just getting some of that UV resin and white acrylic paint onto my stick, running it along the outside edge of where I've placed the UV. Now remember, everything I do in my videos is intentional. If you do not think you would have done this step, then just don't do this step. There are so many ways to do things. Also, I was gonna say, if you wanted to do anything before you did this step, you could put your acrylic vinyl on there, like a nice initial letter, or you could put a little beachy quote like "Life's a beach" or "Take me to the beach," anything like that you could put on top before you put your top layer. I decided to just keep them simple as, and just really just simple oceans basically. But again, you could put in your little turtle silhouettes or your sharks. I don't want to keep reverting back to sharks, but here we are. I've done a little blow with my heat gun. It worked really nicely. I have to say, it would have never occurred to me to use a heat gun on something so small, but it worked really prettily. It definitely did move the white acrylic paint down into the UV, which is really nice. And then I just went back in with another white line to give them more of a crispy wave edge. If you wanted to at this point, you could do yet another layer of waves, but I did decide to call it a day just here as is, because already we're on day 3 of this project. Honestly, I love it, but it's long. I'm just using my cocktail stick. I did decide to do a full cover top coat with my UV resin. You could leave it textured so that you could physically feel that wave, but I did decide for longevity, I just want to give them all a full coverage top coat of my UV resin to make them all super sparkly and all very similar. Now again, I did overspill on the polyurethane, so it's not ideal to have to trim back, but it's really easy to trim. And here they are, and I am obsessed with the shine. Like the finish, the shine, everything about these I love. That wave across the center of this turtle definitely hides the fact that we tried to do some kind of spiral, and it didn't quite give us the aesthetic I was looking for. Love. I absolutely love the clarity in this resin. I know that I put it through the Resiners bubbleless machine, and I know that Let's Resin resin is pretty darn clear of bubbles, but this resin, super clear. Even though I gave them a white background, honestly, you can still see how clear the resin is. Really impressed. Cannot wait to use it again. Here they are, completely finished with their key rings, and they're gorgeous. Oh my gosh, matching blue tassels. Not all the tassels are actually attached at this point because I needed to get the end of the video filmed, but here they are. I think they're so pretty. Let me know your thoughts about the silicone mold, about the resin, about everything that I've shown you in today's video. And remember, everything is linked down below, and I will see you all on Wednesday, and we're trying something completely different. Well, oceans, not that different, but yeah, it's different. Bye.